Hi, I'm Kerry with Best of Us Retirement. I'm a retired financial advisor, and I've been retired since 2005. And I got to thinking about what are the most important things that I could advise people to do as they approach retirement. And I came up with 6 very important steps that I think you should look at. And in preparation for retirement, and as well as if you're in retirement, what should be on the top of your list? I think on top of the list is to maintain your health. It really doesn't matter if you aren't healthy going into retirement. You're going to have a tough road to hoe. And to that end, eat right. Learn how to eat right. I basically, in retirement, I used to, or I still do, when I go out to dinner or when I fill my plate, I look at it and I say, all of that's going into your stomach. Are you okay with that? Do you think it's what you need? Understand, we're a machine and the food is our fuel. And you need to look at what you're putting in your mouth and think about, where's it all going to go? And how is my body going to take it on? And if you stand up in the mirror in the morning before you go in the shower and you see something hanging down and you can't see your parts, maybe you need to stop putting so much food in your mouth, and maybe you need to start exercising. Because truly, this is the best half of your life. And if you don't have your health, it's going to end real quick. So number one is watch what you eat, and along with that, get some exercise. I participate in the Senior Olympics. I run the sprints. I don't have a lot of wind, but I do get out at least 3 times a week and run 2 miles to build up my wind. I subscribe to the theory that at least 3 times a week, you need to get in a race with 2 other people in a Bengal tiger, and you need to make sure you're not the slowest one in the race. Somebody's going to get eaten. So, number 1, take care of your health. Number 2, build your retirement savings. The best way to build your retirement savings is through an IRA, a 401k, a SEP. Understand the difference. If you're in a 401k and you're an employee, at least put in as much as your employer is going to match. That is your ability. Yeah, that's a free lunch. That's a free contribution on their part to your future. And then find enough money to save to put as much, at least to get their match, but then to go beyond that. The advantage of a 401k is you have the employer contributing and you have your own contribution. It's in some 401ks, you can put up as much as $56,000 a year. And that's if you're I would advise you, if you're self-employed, don't just have an IRA. An IRA will let you put $6,000 in. A solo 401k will allow you to put up to $56,000, or a SEP. And learn what those are. If you don't know what they are, Google it. Google it. I would suggest you get a financial advisor, but you don't have to have one to know what those are. So number 2 is build your retirement savings. Then number 3, particularly as you get close to retirement, create a plan. And what I mean by that is learn how to use an Excel spreadsheet and create an income projection year by year while you're working and while you're in retirement. What is your income going to be each year? Then create a financial statement of expenses. What are your expenses now and what are they going to be in the future? And this is your financial plan. And adhere to it. Remember, in a financial plan, you need to both play offense and defense. Offense is to build your assets so that you have a source of income. Defense is to protect protect yourself from the things that could happen to you to throw you off your financial plan. So factor in insurance. Do you have life insurance? What happens if one or the other of you passes away? This comes into play if one of you has an annuity or a pension plan. Do you have survivor's benefits? What happens if one of you passes away and the other one has to stay on? If you have no survivor benefits, that goes away. Understand Social Security and what the survivor benefits are there. And again, if you don't know these things, just go to that trusty Google and ask. And the numbers will come back to you, and plug them into your financial plan on your Excel spreadsheet. Number 4, pay off your mortgage. Your mortgage is an expense that you don't need to be carrying into retirement. And so get it paid off, then immediately go to the bank and get a HELOC loan. What is a HELOC loan? A home equity line of credit. What this is there for is it's a source that you can go get money if you should need it in the case of emergency. Something happens to your children, something happens to your grandchildren, and you need $10,000. The last thing you want to do is pull out that piece of plastic. That is just the wrong thing to do. That's a 21%. A HELOC loan, you're going to be paying about 0.75% over prime rate. Right now, that would put you at something in the neighborhood of 3.5%. That's doable. But if you wait until after you retire to get that HELOC loan, the bank's going to look at your income and say you can't support it. And it's going to be hard to get the loan. But while you're working, they're going to be happy to give it to you. So put it in your tool of financial tools and have it there if you should need it. If you don't need it, it costs you nothing. Usually there are no closing costs on this HELOC loan up to $250,000. And for most people, $250,000 is plenty. You just want somewhere to go if you have an emergency, if you have something that you need a quick check for, that you don't have to pull out the plastic. So pay down your mortgage, but get a HELOC loan. It's a tool in your financial kit. Carry no credit card debt to retirement or during retirement. If you're going to use credit cards, you use them purely for paying expenses today that you're going to pay off when that bill comes, and you carry no balance on that credit card. That is death. If you're putting things on credit card and paying on monthly payments, you don't need them. You don't need them. You got all the stuff you need. It's in your closets. It's in your basement. It's in your attic. You got all the stuff you need. So don't carry credit card balances. That's a cardinal sin. Then, prior to your retirement, set the scene. And what I mean by that, start with your spouse or your significant other and make sure you're on the same page. I saw this repeatedly and in my retirement planning. One of the people, a couple would come in. One is, yeah, let's stick to this, let's stay to this. And then the other one was, oh, no, you don't. I had a doctor who was so far in debt, but he and his wife would not give up their country club membership. No, they were going in debt. And then they didn't set the scene with their children, and they had a dependent 38-year-old. Do not go into retirement with a dependent 38-year-old unless they have a mental handicap or some handicap that requires them to be, and that you had planned on that for years. But you do not want to be supporting someone other than yourself and your significant other as you enter retirement. And you want an agreement. Go back to number 3 and make sure they're on the same page with you on that retirement plan. And if they're not, you sit them down in the front of that computer and you say, this can't go on. We can't be having these credit card bills at that shop that you like to go in and drop a lot of money. Now is not the time to be building your shoe inventory. You must be on the same page. If you'll do those 6 things, and number 1, remember what number 1 is, take care of your health. Nothing else is important if you don't take care of your health, and that is proper diet and proper exercise. Learn how many calories it takes to run your body. It takes my body roughly 2,100 calories a day to keep this machine running, okay? How many calories does a Coke contain? Somewhere around 100 to 150 to decide, depending on the size of your can. How much exercise does it take to burn off 100 calories? You got to run a mile, okay? If you aren't willing to run a mile, don't drink a can of Coke. Drink a bottle of water. If you are, I have not had a donut in over 15 years. I don't do that sort of thing. I don't eat cake. I don't eat sugar. So make yourself aware. Google it. Google, how much does this Big Mac at McDonald's, how many calories does it have? It's going to be about 600. Are you willing to run 6 miles this afternoon? If you put a Coke to it, one of the big monsters and some French fries, you're up to about 1,000 calories. That's close to half of everything you should be taking in during your day, okay? Know these things and maintain your health. And then get your heart rate up every once in a while. What does that mean? Get yourself a Fitbit and know what your resting heart rate is. Mine's about 67. I take my heart rate to 170 on occasions. Why? I want that muscle strong. That's the most important muscle that I have in my body. And if it's not strong and it can't take a little bit of stress, it's going to collapse. And it's not going to be able to push that cholesterol through my arteries to make sure that I don't have a stroke. That's important for you to manage. It's important for you to understand it. I'd encourage you to read about how to maintain your health in your retirement. Join a club, join a gym, meet there with your friends, and even if you only lift weights about a third of the time, at least you're doing something. Okay, those are my 6 musts for entry into retirement. There's other things, but this is what it takes to make the second half the best half.